Well, good morning. I woke up and I was kind of groggy and I'm out walking the dog and I started thinking about the barn and I just started smiling. I just got happy thinking about the people and what I got to do yesterday and hopefully what today holds. I was stressed during the night about money and trying to figure out how I'm gonna live my life and do things. And is this horse thing a crazy thing to spend money on? And the fact is, it makes me happy. When I think about it, it makes me happy. When I'm there, it makes me happy. So I just need to figure out a way to make it workable because there's no way I'm gonna cut that out of my life. I'm going to eat some breakfast, feed the dog, and go to my happy place. I'll see you on the way. We are barn bound. It is Sunday. It is 8 a.m. and I'm headed north. It's funny how when you have someplace you're excited to be, it's no trouble to be up. I'm thrilled. I'm so excited to be headed that way, and I hope it's an exciting day. I did have a bizarre dream this morning that probably won't make the video, but so I bought the corgi belts yesterday for Dom and I. It was one of those sort of trippy dreams you have in between hitting the snooze buttons in the morning. So I was gonna give the belt to Dom as a surprise, but for some reason I was gonna do it in the kitchen, and for some reason Gordon Ramsay was there, and he looked in the box I was gonna give Dom, and he was like, "Aw." And then when she was like, "What is it?" he wouldn't show her. That was the whole dream. I have no idea what that's about. Yeah, that's how I dream. I don't know. Yeah. I think I'm supposed to help Matt go over to the show park and take down some stuff, and sort of pack up the show. But he didn't text me like he said he would, so this is yet another day I'm just going to the barn on belief that I'll be useful or it'll be fun. And by and large, that's done me well. Like I don't get to the barn and I'm like, oh, this was a mistake. There's always something to do. So, yeah. I was sitting there last night and God, it was like sick. My goal yesterday was to help out so that people could sort of leave early, and I think it had been a stressful day, and I thought, I'll clean some tack and whatever. And then it was like 6:15, 6:30 even, when people were still sitting there just kind of hanging around, and I was like, well, this is nice. So that's partly why I went to watch sunset, because it was so close to when the sun actually sets. I think once I have a lay of the land this morning, once I get there, I'll text my wife and be like, hey, the registration sticker. That's not a very interesting story either, but it's on my mind. I have a funny feeling I might see him there today, or them, but him, I don't know if he's doing early mornings or what, or I don't know if he's giving lessons, but I'm just kind of like bracing myself for his face. It's funny when I talk to some people and tell them about the fact that he's at my barn, they're like, go ride somewhere else, like just find another barn. And I guess that's the issue with advice from other people, even well-meaning people. If they don't understand the context of the situation, you have to become a gracious advice receiver, even while the whole time you're not going to take it. Otherwise, you just look argumentative. He was like, find another barn to ride at. There's lots of places you can ride. And you want to stop and be like, no, it's not about the horses, or it's not just about the horses. It's the fact that I've been part of this place for a year and a half. I've been part of the barn I'm at now for 6 months. It's about relationships I've cultivated. It's about the feeling of the place. It's about the people. Yes, it's about the horses too. So you don't just, you don't go to a new place and be like, hi, I'm new and nice and you can rely on me. Like, it takes time. It takes relationship building. So instead you just sit there and say like, oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, I should look into other places, which feels, it toes the line between feeling dishonest and just kind of steering the conversation away from that, because it's such a dance when people care and invest time in you or invest energy in you. They listen to you and they're trying to help in ways. So when they make a suggestion like, oh, you should go ride at a different barn, they just don't know more than that. but they might not necessarily want to invest more in themselves in the particulars of what it means to go to a bar. You know, on a more basic level, like, you are sad, they are friend, they care about you, they give you best advice they can, but they don't want to learn more to give more nuanced advice. Totally makes sense. That's not, that's not a flaw at all. But no, I'm not going to go ride somewhere else. That doesn't make any sense, and I think you guys get that. I had to close a whole bunch of YouTube tabs on my computer last night from the previous night, where I was just sort of like, I don't know, I went on this sort of like weird combination, but a Selena Gomez and Sarah McLachlan bender. I was just listening to all their songs, being like, what year / decade is it? Sarah McLachlan tunes kind of hold up, like, for tracks that are, when was she popular? In the mid-90s? Oh, sweet. I just got the text from Matt I've been waiting for. It says, Horse Park, 9 p.m., work. Cool. Will do. In car, driving, work. I really like that guy. He's awesome. I think so highly of him. But don't tell him. I don't want him to know that I like him so much. It's our secret. You and me. Don't tell Matt. I think I was watching the Sarah McLachlan videos, kind of like crushing on her a little. I was like, wow, she's so pretty and sings so well. She's so nice. And I'm like, you are crushing on mid-90s Sarah McLachlan. How's that going to play out for you? And isn't that sad, like, our logical brains? Like, if you want to crush on someone from the mid-90s, fine. Like, she's still alive, but your brain's like, yeah, but don't crush on her. She's, she doesn't look like that anymore. And it's like, yeah, but so what? Just let me be happy, Let me crush on Sarah McLachlan if I want. A friend of mine years ago was doing a long road trip. That's funny. That friend of mine gave me this shirt. Oh, hi. Was doing a long road trip from the Northeast to Texas. I think was doing one of those things where you're like, I could stop or I could just kind of motor through. So he pushed it. And at some point, oh God, I forget what state it was. Was it Tennessee? At some point, maybe more than halfway into the trip, but not near the end of the trip, he started, I don't know if hallucinating is the right word, but having this sort of like fantasy that he picked up Sarah McLachlan as a hitchhiker and just drove a long time with Sarah McLachlan. And when he told me the story, it busted me up because it's like, Sarah McLachlan? Like, okay. I need to follow up with him and remember more about that story. I'll text him a little bit and see if he will give me more of the details, because I didn't just tell a really enjoyable story. There's something to be said for being alone for extended periods and what you do with your time, how you communicate. I have an excuse because I have the dog, so I talk to her all the time, but I'm still talking. I get into bed and I'm talking, I'm like, oh, this bed is so good, it's so comfortable. Like it's strange. I have a need to talk and connect, but I'm kind of introverted, which is so weird. I did a Myers-Briggs thing the other night, and I'm introverted, which is true. Like, in social situations, I'm super awkward. Like, in a room full of strangers, I cannot sort of waltz around the room and have people fawn all over me. It's just not me. I'm way more comfortable kind of against the wall. I do better in one-on-one conversations or one-on-two conversations, but group conversations, I don't have that effervescence where I can tell these fabulous stories and people laugh. That was who I'm still married to. She's so good at that. And I did marvel at that. Like, how are you so able to just dazzle everybody? I wish I had more of that. But I don't. So, you can only do what you do. I have an Audible account, and, I listen to books while I'm driving. It's funny, though. Like, I used to listen more. Now I just talk to you more. It's more enjoyable. But one of the books on Audible that keeps getting suggested is that How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's when's it from, the 50s or 60s? Like, it's an older book, but it keeps popping up as something I might be into. And I'm like, how do you think that's something I might be into. It is, in fact, something I might be into. But how did you know? Because the books I've listened to on Audible are like Ready Player One and Lincoln and the Bardo and The Overstory and Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman. Like, it's this just kind of eccentric collection of things. Oh, does that all point to me being kind of a loner loser and needing to learn how to make friends? I don't know. But, God, those algorithms are interesting. You think the algorithm sits there and goes, you like that book, but that book, but that book, but that book. Oh, he's weird. Okay, he needs books to help him socialize. Whereas if I listen to all, like, Freakonomics books, they'd be like, oh, he's just, he's financially oriented. So let's suggest financial books. But if it's too disparate, they're like, yeah, we need to like draw him together. And I watched a video this morning on the last remaining Blockbuster video in Bend, Oregon, and I do miss that. I think it's the same reason I like having records in my classroom at school. I enjoy and miss rooting through things. Like, you could go to a Blockbuster and not know what you wanted to watch and just wander around. The scale was right. You could walk through movies and pick out what you wanted. Versus now, you can sit on your couch and sort of thumb through millions of movies. There was something satisfying about physically traveling through a space surrounded by movies. Or I like the motion of, if you have a box of records, like combing through going through, like record to record to record. I like that picking. It's tangible, and then you select the album, then you slide the vinyl out, and you put it on the platen, and you take the needle and you put it down, and you adjust the button. Like, there's a ritual to it that I really enjoy. Which is why I'm still so thrown about that swap meet I went to last night. Cassette tapes don't have that ritual. You don't pick through cassette tapes. Typically, they're just put in like, skinny side out. So you go down, you find the thing, you take it out, open the case, and you just plunk it in. And then you have to see where the tape is at, or you have to rewind it back to the beginning. I don't know, it just doesn't have the elegance of vinyl to my mind. I respect the pursuit, but I just feel like, I hope this isn't me becoming cynical. I just feel like, there's a certain part of the population where like, we're so over vinyl, what else can we get into? Cassette tapes. Or maybe there's just a glut of cassette tapes around, and they're like, if we make these cool again, we can buy them for pennies and sell them. I think they were selling for like $5 each, which is insane. But you know what? I respect the entrepreneurial spirit, and I am about to get to the barn. Well, this was a nice conversation. I mean, bits and pieces I'll probably draw out of this. Thanks for listening. Captive audience, and my phone. When it gets out to the world, who knows? But stick with me until we play the Who's at the Barn game, because I just have a hunch, and maybe you'll see me go from happy me to sad me. Who's at the barn? Pickup truck. All right, that person. So far, I have not noticed the presence of evil. Cool. No bad people here yet. Yay. See you in a bit. Day 25 in captivity. I don't think I'll ever get out of here. Giving up hope. Dear God, will I ever get free? Will I ever see my kids again? Stuck here in this hellish cage. Owned by evil people. The future is so bleak. It's so cold. I'm so sad. I'm sorry, little horse. I'm sorry it sucks so bad. I do love your nose. What a day. I haven't really seen you much, but that's because I've been busy at the barn. I love it. It was such a great day. My outlook right now is positive. I feel really good. I love being part of a barn. I had no idea what a positive experience it would be for me. And I'm so ridiculously grateful for the situation. I'm grateful they're accepting. I'm grateful that I've had the ability to come up here as often as I can and to meet people and to contribute. Everything about the situation feels really good. So yeah, I have a whole lot of gratitude at the moment. I got to the barn early and I went over to the horse show with Matt to help him take down the show. It's a lot of work, and I thought, I'll be part of the team, I'll help. But it's cutting down zip ties and taking out things and stowing stuff and packing the trailer and bringing it back, and it's just a lot of things. So I ended up missing my 11 o'clock lesson, which I was, sad about because I like my Saturday lesson crew. It's, I told you about the belts. So I got back about 11:25, and they were all out in the ring taking their lesson, and they're like, "Oh, you're hanging out with your new friend Matt," and I'm like, "Yep, it's pretty cool." So we turned it into a high school, like I'd moved on to cooler people than them sort of situation. So I watched their lesson, and that was fun. My teacher was like, "Hey, do you want to ride it too? These other people are taking lessons," and I was like, "Sure." So I hung out. It's just fun. It's fun to hang out and talk to people and socialize, and it just feels like there's always trouble to get into and things to do and different characters with different chemistries, and I love it. I really love it there. I could spend every weekend there. It really is a happy place. It's such a happy moment for me, so I'm grateful. Going into the breakup, I didn't know these people. I mean, I knew these people just barely. And it was in the context of my wife wanting to join that barn and jump with them. That's what we talked about on my birthday. The whole birthday dinner, we talked about her leaving her trainer and going to this barn. Never in my wildest dreams did I imagine her falling in love with her trainer and leaving me. And that's still the confusing thing about this. We had like a 2.5 hour long conversation. It was the entire conversation of my birthday dinner was processing her wanting to leave her trainer, but not wanting to hurt his feelings. That was the birthday dinner. So I don't understand how in the midst of like that's the confusion. So that was the conversation we had, very in depth for a long time. But she was secretly the whole time harboring feelings for him, like love feelings. Like, was I supposed to read between all the lines, thinking this person that she trained with for a while, whose feelings she didn't want to hurt, which is not an unusual conversation to have, like as empathetic people. I was supposed to read through all those lines and be like, oh, maybe she wants to have a family with him, and that's why, I beat myself up for not being more cynical, but I don't get it. Like, I really think I did it well. I was trusting. I trusted that the conversation we were having was real and not maybe some meta-level conversation about breaking up relationships. I did think it was strange in February when she snuck around behind her trainer's back to ride with my barn and jump a little bit. She was sneaky. She didn't tell her trainer, and she was jumping horses with my barn. And I remember having this feeling like, oh, it's almost like she's cheating on her trainer a little because she wasn't telling him. And I remember it felt funny to me. It felt funny that she would do that. It also felt funny that horse relationships are like that, and this has really been my first time being involved in the horse world. And what I'm realizing now is I don't think they are like that. I think she made it like that. For instance, if the situation were reversed, let's say, so I love my barn and I love all those people. But, and follow the logic here, if my wife's boyfriend's ex-girlfriend, who's very nice, if she invited me over to that barn to take a dressage lesson or to ride horses with her, I would absolutely go. I'm not doing anything wrong. Like, nobody at my barn would be like, what? You may only ride with us. Like, no. You know, I'm welcome to do whatever I want to do. So I think it's funny to think the way my wife portrayed it. She was training with her trainer, who would have been very sensitive to her riding with anybody else. Like, that's all fabricated. Like, that's not real. Or if that is real, that's a weird situation. Like, you can do whatever you want with whomever you want. Maybe it would have been weird if she was training with him and then also training with his girlfriend when she could have given him more dressage business. But she gave him plenty. It's definitely a hang-up for me. Like, the fact that we wasted my whole birthday talking about if she started jumping instead of learning dressage, like, that just rubs me raw now. It's like, she wasted my time. She wasted my birthday. And I was invested, you know? I was sincere, and that's what we talked about. And I was trying to help her. And when I think now, she had so many ulterior motives at the time. It just sucks. Oh my God. I look to the right. Oh, the sun is huge and orange, and can you see it over there? It makes me wonder, like, had I gone to the ocean, would there have just been this massive sun that broke out of the clouds? But I'm excited to be going home to see my furry dog and to have it be early enough to get some stuff done. Things to remember, it is Sunday. It is a day of rest, meaning taco stand is not open. You know, I'm not going home now thinking, how am I going to fill the next 3 or 4 hours till I can sleep? I'm going home thinking, that was a great day. I'm gonna be okay for the next few hours. You know, there are things to do and work to be done and blah, 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 but hopefully I'm not gonna suffer. I don't think I'll suffer. There's still wild cards. I could get home and my wife could be waiting in the parking garage, or, you know, like, there could be a summons in my mailbox. Like, I don't really know, but at least from right now, right here, in this moment, as I'm getting home from my day at the barn, I think I will be okay. I'm pretty sure I'll be okay. Odds are I'll be okay. And that's great. I had a phone call with a loved one. We've had some pretty intense phone calls in the past couple months. And it was nice today to have a phone call that was not traumatic. We caught up and we talked about this and that, and I talked about my counteroffer and, you know, how I haven't sent it yet, and how I'm not looking forward to sending it, but I will, but I'm in no particular hurry. She is. I am not. She doesn't communicate with me. She doesn't tell me anything. She doesn't tell me about her life. So the expectation that I'm gonna bend over backwards to make it all happen is wrong. I'm not going to. And if anything, the terrible way she's treated me has just polarized the situation. You know, if she wants to go real fast, then maybe I want to go kind of slow. If she's gonna get all shouty at me, I'm gonna talk really calm. And yeah, I'm curious. You know, a text from the mediator came through while I've been talking to you, so I will be curious to see what that says when I go in. But yeah. Also, it is a holiday weekend right now, so I wonder if, you know, it's a 3-day weekend. I wonder if my wife and her boyfriend have traveled north to do Bay Area things, or it's strange to not know where she is or what she's doing. but it's getting a little easier to not care so much. I don't totally not care the way she seems to totally not care about me, but it's getting a little bit easier. So hopefully that's progress too. I'm gonna go upstairs and see my little fuzzy dog. Thank you for hanging out with me while I drove. It's nice to have you around. I sincerely hope that this becomes a thing. As of right now, I've still never published a video, so I don't know what works or what doesn't work. I'm just doing what feels good for me, and I hope on some level my instinct is good and some of this is interesting for you. Thanks for hanging out, and have a super night, and I will talk to you soon. Either tonight or bright and early tomorrow. I'll see you then.